Hello, friends. Good afternoon to you. This is Sanjay Singh, your sales coach. The topic that we are going to discuss today in today's live session is how do you close sales like a pro? Now, closing of sales has always been a question with most sales freshers, and it creates a kind of inhibition, it creates a kind of apprehension in the minds of salespeople because they're not very clear. They're not very clear how exactly do you close a sale. So in today's discussion, we are going to discuss more about this whole entire phenomena of closing. First and foremost, never fall a prey to premature closing. I repeat, there is something called premature closing, and you should never fall a prey to that. What is premature closing? When you start talking to a customer, even when you have not yet explained everything about your product to the customer asks you for the price. And if you do the mistake of telling the price, then customer say, oh, this is too expensive. And you start closing it then and there. Well, it's too premature, isn't it? Abhi to customer has not even decided to buy your product. Customer has not even made up his mind. He's still trying to understand, and you have gone ahead and started closing, which is wrong. So never fall a prey to premature closing. What is the right time to close? Well, once you have explained a benefit to the customer, and after having explained the benefit to the customer, if the customer agrees that yes, he likes this benefit, straight away go for the close. So there is no right time to go for a close. The moment you have explained a benefit, and it may be that you have 4, 5, 6, 7 benefits to talk about. Many a time, salespeople say, "Sir, please wait. Let me explain my next benefit and next benefit and next benefit." No, there is no right time to close an order. So the moment you have explained one benefit to the customer, and the customer says, "Yes, this is good. This sounds good," straight away go for the close. It is normally said that 3 to 4 part closings leads to a closing. So 3 to 4 part closing will lead to a closing. Now, what is a part closing? 3 to 4 part closing will lead to a closing. What is a part closing? When you make an attempt to close and the customer says, no, 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 not right now. That's a part close. So you have explained the benefit, customer has liked the benefit, and you have made an attempt to close, which is a soft close. Customer says, okay, that's a soft close, is a part close. And normally 3 to 4 part closing will lead to a final closing. Now, if you have done these two things, it is time for you to understand. If you really want to understand this phenomenon of closing, you have to understand these 7 P's that you see on the screen: product, price, place, promotion, packaging, people, and physical evidence. These are also called the 7 P's of marketing. Now, at this juncture, you have to understand that the customer will buy your product only when he rates you and your product highest under each of these 7 categories. So, is your product the best? Is your price the best? Is your place, that is the shop or the environment in which you are giving the experience to the customer, is that the best? Is the promotion scheme, so what kind of scheme is on right now, promotion scheme, is that the best in the market right now? Is the packaging of your goods the best? Is the quality of people who are handling the customer in the shop, are they the best? And the physical evidence, which is the evidence of your having performed very good in the past, your past track record and evidence of that. So once you take the 7 P's in consonants and you tell to your mind that am I the best choice of the customer across the 7 P's? Please understand, am I the best choice of the customer across the 7 P's? Okay, and if the answer is yes, only then go ahead with your sales closings, because no customer in the world will patronize you if you are not the best choice. irrespective of whatever price you're giving, irrespective of whatever discount you're giving. If you're not the best choice of the customer will not buy your product, period. Now, the question is that when I say best price, does it mean the cheapest price? Surely not. Because if that would have been so or so, then the cheapest product would have sold. But that's not true. So when I say the best product, what do I mean? The best product in terms of benefits for a particular customer. So a product could be good for Ram and may not be the best for Sham. So best product, best price, not the least price, best price. Best price means value for money, right? Best place. So that talks about the experience. Best promotion as to what kind of schemes you're running right now. Packaging, you understand people. So how are the people dealing with the customer? Do they look intelligent enough? Do they look knowledgeable enough? Do they look trustworthy enough? And of course, the physical evidence. So all those of you who are worried about sales closing, understand that you will start your closing only once you have established yourself as the numero uno or the top choice of the customer across board, across the 7 Ps. Now let's assume that you have done it. Now, try and ask this question to yourself. What will the customer gain if he buys now? You see, the customer must feel that he is going to gain something if he buys now. And if you are thinking that customer will feel gain only if you give a discount, you're sadly mistaken. I have closed deals where I have promised the customer a superlative form of training and empowerment post-training, post-sales. So if I sell a mobile phone to someone and I say that I'm going to educate and empower you on how to use 132 features on this mobile, that could be my selling point, right? So what will the customer gain if he deals with you? Now, when I say deals with you, there are three entities involved. One is you as a salesperson. Second is the brand that you're selling. And third is the organization that you represent, right? So there are occasions where you are a great salesperson, but the brand that you represent is not good enough, or the organization that you represent may not be good enough. Okay. The question that what will the customer gain if he buys right now, do you have a very clear-cut answer to this? Because if you don't have a clear-cut answer to this, you may not be closing very well. The converse of this question, let me put that on the board. The converse of this question is what will the customer lose if he does not buy? Well, this is just the converse of the question, right? What will the customer lose if he does not buy, or what will the customer gain if he buys? Finally, if there is clarity over the answer to this particular question on both sides of the table, a sales closing will happen. Now, going back to the drawing board, are you clear about this? If not, you will not be able to close sales. You will still be booking orders. In those cases, the customer has bought it from you, but you have not sold it to the customer because purely because of the fact that you're not clear about the answer to this question. Now, how do you arrive at what the customer is going to gain? Customer does not gain from features of your product, right? The customer gains from the benefits that accrues out of the advantages, which in turn translates from the features of your product. So if I'm selling a 5-star air conditioner, as an example, so 5-star AC is the feature, less electricity consumption is the advantage, and 10 rupees per hour saving for the consumer is the benefit. You see, a smart salesperson always translates the benefit into a financial benefit for the customer. Now, my clear-cut question to all of you is, are you very clear about the financial benefits that your customer is going to gain by dealing with you, your product, your brand? And again, if you're thinking that financial benefits means discount, you're wrong. I'm not talking about discounts here. There are various kinds of financial benefits that the customer can get. For example, if I'm selling raw material and if the customer uses my raw material in his production process, if his waste is going to come down by 2%, the equivalent amount of money of the 2% waste management will be the financial benefit of the customer. If by using the spare parts that I sell, if the customer can increase the throughput or the performance of his machines, because of which the yield or the production that comes out of the machine per shift is higher, his cost of production per unit comes down, and that's the financial benefit of the customer. You see, I'm taking various examples as to how you can translate benefits into financial benefit for the customer, and why we are doing so, because unless you're able to establish financial benefit for your customers on the negotiation table, you will cut a sorry figure, you will not be closing enough sales. Going by the same examples, if I'm selling something which gives you a better lifestyle, something, so if I'm selling a Mercedes car which gives you a better brand image, a better lifestyle, a better brand association, well, that can also be translated into an intangible financial benefit, right? So all of you out there into sales closing and baffled with the idea of sales closing, ask yourself this question: what will the customer lose if he does not buy, or what will the customer gain if he buys? And this loss or gain should be financial. If you are able to translate benefits that accrue to your customer in financial terms, customer understands it better. Okay. Now, once this is established, let us move towards the customer psyche, because in the last 38 years that I have been into selling, I have realized that many a times the customer is fully convinced. He wants to buy your product, but he needs a push at towards the end to actually buy the product, because he'll keep on thinking that, okay, should I consult someone else? Is it the right price that I'm buying? Should I still talk to my elder brother? Should I look for 3-4 more users of this product so that I'm not fooled into a purchase, and so on and so forth? So at this juncture, and this is what I call threshold energy. You see, when you boil water, even if the water is boiled till 98 degrees centigrade, it doesn't generate latent heat of evaporation. It is only at 100 degrees that water starts boiling. Now, definitely 99% of the energy was invested till 99 degrees, but still that extra 1 degree centigrade makes the water boil. Similarly, a customer is excited. When he wants to buy a product, he's excited. In fact, he's more excited than the salesperson. But he needs a threshold energy towards the end to actually buy. Just like water needs 100 degrees centigrade to boil, a customer also needs a tipping point. I call it the tipping point. Let me just write it for you, the tipping point. So customer needs a tipping point to actually take a decision. And a salesperson who has the knack of arriving at the tipping point actually is a master closer. Now, what is this tipping point? This tipping point is a point where you are able to exude the kind of confidence, the kind of positive energy, and the kind of positive association in dealing with you that the customer finally says, okay, let me go for it. Right? How do you arrive at the tipping point? Now, this is a social skill. This is not a technical skill. This is a social skill. This is a people skill. This is also a communication skill. So towards the end of the transaction, by the time you have justified your product, price, place, promotion, packaging, people, and everything, there is only one thing which remains at limbo, and that one thing is trust. If you are able to establish the trust, you have reached the tipping point, assuming that every other thing is good. So you messed with the best product, the best price, the best place, promotion, packaging, people, and physical evidence. If you have gained good enough numbers in all these points at the tipping point, if you are not able to establish trust, you do not get the tipping point. Now the question is, how do you establish trust? Because you cannot stamp trusted on your forehead. You have been talking politely to the customer. What else should you do to exude trust? Well, to be trustworthy, friends, at the tipping point, it is important for you to talk about testimonials. It's important for you to talk about other customers of the same genre that you are talking to who have purchased the product from you. So, for example, if you're talking to a doctor, you should give examples of other doctors who have bought from you. Okay, so talk about similar genre, talk about testimonials that you have received, talk about the various usages that they put to. Okay, also talk about the experience that they have got. Show them written testimonials, if any, that you have received from the customer. All in all, you are required to hold the hand of the customer and exude that trust. That trust should flow from your body language, should flow from your eyes, should flow from your language, should flow from the words that you use. This is a social skill. We will do another live session on how to establish trust at the tipping point. But at this juncture, just understand that it is important for you to establish the trust at this tipping point. And I'm sure you would be able to close more sales. So, friends, as we come towards the end of today's live podcast, it's important to understand that sales closing is an understanding, sales closing is an attitude. Sales closing is not a point. Sales closing is not a stage where you start closing. Sales closing is an attitude. It's a feeling. It's a feeling of trust. So, right from the word go, the moment you have started talking to a customer, you may not be aware, but you have started sowing seeds of trust in the minds of the customer. You might feel that customer finds you trustworthy only in the last transaction, but no, right from the word go, right from the first call that you received from the customer, right from the first time that you showed your face to the customer, he has been judging you. He has been rating you. And if there has been anything that you have done in the past which doesn't comply to his trust standards, he would have written you off in his mind, even though he will continue to take your demonstration and continue to interact and talk with you. So that is why towards the end of this today's session, I would like to say, friend, that the karmas of sales are very important. Focus on generating trust with your customer right from the word go rather than at the time of closing. Because if you keep this exercise of building trust to the point of sales closure, you might be very late. And despite having done everything great, you still may not close the order. I wish you happy closings because sales closings will give you name, fame, and money. Friends, this is Sanjay Singh, your sales coach, signing off. I'm on a very special mission of empowering 1 million salespersons with the science of selling before 2025. So please help me connect to more and more sales freshers and stay tuned to this channel because I come live at 1 p.m. My live sessions are called Lunch and Learn. So while you are doing lunch, you can learn. So look forward for my next podcast of Lunch and Learn over another topic of sales. Till such time, goodbye. बेचना सीख लोगे तो जिंदगी जी लोगे.